Hey guys, welcome back to Black, White, and the Grace. Today, I thought I'd share this recipe with you because it is a family favorite and also I think it needs to be shared. If you're from a certain state, you will know this recipe and you may not realize that the other people don't. So we're making pepperoni rolls today. Essentially, pepperoni rolls, when we lived in West Virginia, I moved to West Virginia in the middle of my 6th grade year and lived there until I was a freshman in college, moved back to Oregon, and then moved back 3 years later when Trey and I got married, and we spent 3 years there until we moved back to Oregon. Okay, but in West Virginia, pepperoni rolls are all the rage. So they're essentially rolls with pepperoni, cheese in them, baked, and that's it. And you can add dipping sauce, ranch, or marinara, whatever your heart's desire, or just eat them plain. They were first invented for the coal miners in West Virginia. Coal mining is like the main industry in West Virginia, and they were originally invented in Fairmont, West Virginia, for coal miners to be able to have something that was nutritious and hearty to go down into the mines with them that didn't need to be refrigerated. So I'm going to show you how to make them. If you're from West Virginia or have passed through West Virginia or are in a state that's close to one of the borders of West Virginia, you probably know what these are. Let's make them. This is my first time using this recipe. It's the King Arthur just dinner roll recipe, but some of these pieces might be a little too big and I may cut them down to make more rolls. This recipe is so ridiculously simple that you can even, a lot of times I buy the Rhodes rolls, the freezer rolls, and then just unthaw them, and when they're unthawed, stuff them and do it. It's way simpler. This is what I had on hand, so we're doing it from scratch. Where's the cheese? Are we out? Oh my gosh. Well, should have checked ahead. I have no cheese unthawed. We buy in bulk at Costco, and so you get these huge bags of cheddar cheese, Tillamook, which is local, you know. And they are so big that I put one in the freezer and have one in the fridge. And traditionally it's supposed to work if you finish the last one, you pull out this one. Freezing cheese works great. But this could be an epic fail. Don't tell my family, but I'm gonna put frozen cheese in the pepperoni rolls. Hopefully they should turn out just fine. And just get some sliced pepperoni, or even like sticks of pepperoni. Work great. Stuff. I'll show you what I do. Let's see. Let's find a good. This is a good size. You can make them as big or as little as you like. This is funny. Oh, preheated. I like to put, let's see, I like 4 slices. Nothing super fancy. Fold it over. This is a huge baking dish, oiled already, and you just put it in like so. And that's it. Then you bake it for 350 till golden brown. Make sure your seam is facing down, and that is it. They're great. Now they make huge ones, big ones, small ones, you know, some as big as your head, but I like small ones. They're snack size. Excuse me. Pardon me. No. It is a bright, sunny day, and I am on a sheet of ice. The pepperoni rolls are rising, their second rise, bean stuffed, and they're on the stove. And in a bit, we'll go in and check on and get them baked, and you guys will get to see them. If you notice in the kitchen, there's a bunch of tools out near my baking section, and my KitchenAid, as I was making that dough this morning, the motor got, or a gear I think is what I diagnosed it as, a gear got overworked in it, which I knew with my size of family, with all the boys we got, that the classic KitchenAid is pushing it, because I typically make double, triple, quadruple batches. And it stopped spinning, so I was trying to repair it, and I can't get a dang pin out of it, which holds the whole thing together. Anyway, the moral of the story is my KitchenAid's outside because I read a tip that if it freezes, a guy put his in the freezer. I don't have freezer space. It's at a premium around here. So I'm putting it outside, and tonight it's going to be so dang cold that hopefully that KitchenAid freezes and I could pop the pin out, because, you know, metal contracts, and fix my own KitchenAid. Because you take it to a repair shop, you could pay a couple $100. $100, I don't know, could be cheaper. I just assumed I like to fix things myself, build things myself. So I thought we should go over some seeds. I got my this is just Baker Creek. Now I would like to transition over to some more local Oregon companies, Territorial Seeds, or other small companies. So if you are an Oregon native, if you're located in Oregon, Washington, Northern California, and you know of any good seed companies, Territorial I know of, let me know in the comments below. I'd like to do a little more local. I do love Baker Creek. I think it's because I started following Jess over at Roots and Refuge years and years ago. I mean, it was like right when her channel first took off with that very first garden tour. I got recommended that video and have been following along ever since. So I feel like I have this place in my heart for Baker Creek because of her. I always like to grow from Baker Creek because they have great germination. I've always had super good success with them. They're very honest about germination rate on their packets, and I'll get to that, and I'll show you one that has low, and they say it's overpacked due to low germination. And some of them are for the flower garden. Oh dear, this is out of control. I had them organized. Bear with me. Okay, first we're gonna start with vegetables and herbs. So for the first vegetable and herb is lemon balm. This is a classic. I love the taste of it in tea, and I'm actually going to grow it in our little greenhouse because it grows here and handles frost just fine. It does not. I've had a hard time carrying it over from winter to winter to winter. So it's more like an annual, and I'm wanting it to be a perennial. And I'm going to, in the smaller greenhouse, because we have the high tunnel this year, I'm going to be planting a lot of my herbs that I want to come back over and over again that don't do so well. I'll still grow things out here that do well, cilantro and what have you, but things like that, greenhouse. This I got because I have heard Jess talk about it for years and years. It's the Armenian white cucumber. It's actually a melon, but she says it's really good. So we're going to give it a whirl. This is an herb that does really well outside, and I want to grow it plenty. I want to grow lots of it for tea. This is the theme. I've been using a lot of my own teas that I've made from foraging our property and growing myself, or trading with my sister mainly. And I've such enjoyed that I want to kind of grow all my herbs for my teas. And also with our cow getting mastitis, I have read a lot of people have herb gardens for their cows. Now, I don't necessarily need to grow a separate herb garden for her, but I can grow the herbs that it's multi-purpose. Animals and us, we can all use them, benefit at the same time. This is a tomato, and this is a Paul Robeson. I had a bunch of these, started them a few years ago, and killed them all. So when Baker Creek, two things I love about Baker Creek, besides the germination rate and their heirloom and the stories they tell you, besides all that, I love that they give you free shipping on any order. You could order one seed packet and they give you free shipping, which is kind of a ripoff. There goes all the flower seeds. They're not. Luckily the packs aren't open. But this is a free seed packet, which is a carrot, Uzbek, wow, golden carrot. I've actually wanted to try this, but I just didn't think it was, I think it's cool. I'll probably grow it in the little garden that I'm in right now, just for fun. This is a plantain. This is purple. This is the variety they had, but it's an extremely medicinal plant, and I wanted to have this in my arsenal. Berries Crazy Cherry. I grew this last year and it did so well in the little greenhouse until it didn't. I left the doors and windows open on a night that I didn't think was going to get super cold in August. If you've been around for this channel any point in time, you know that we get frost in the summer, multiple frosts in the summer. So tomatoes and peppers kind of are difficult to grow if you leave the greenhouse open. They freeze. But Berry Crazy Cherry, I thought in our short climate, if I get it started in time, early, we should have good success. The long bean Chinese red noodle, also a Jess recommendation. These, see on the packet right there, that sticker, overpacked due to low germination, 67%. Now, Johnny's also does this. I have gotten a pack that's overpacked because of that. But then which I've never had with Baker Creek, not saying they don't, but with Johnny's, I have found that on my orders, they will send me or reimburse me if a seed after season, if a crop is a total failure, they will send me a refund or a new seed. So, which I really enjoy. Sometimes it's happened to me twice now, and I just open up my mailbox and there's a package from Johnny's saying, hey, sorry, or an email saying we refunded you. So the next couple things, actually I'm gonna get to these last. I got this, I went through the Baker Creek catalog. They're free ranging. Their pin is a sheet of ice. That's not good. So they're out in the dirt, loving life. The Baker Creek free seed catalog came out. And I went through it. I have bought the thick one that you buy for like $12, and I just realized I ended up spending so much money that it's too dangerous for me to buy a seed catalog to buy more seeds. So I will look at the free one, and I kept myself to a $20 limit and then actually went back. I think I spent $70 on these seeds, but this is for the flower farm and for fun usages and for some workhorses too, but these are, a lot of my fun seeds come from Baker Creek. But these they were like one of the main pages of the catalog. The free catalog this year is the tomato, the black strawberry. They're a cherry. I know my sister is solely trying to focus on cherry tomatoes this year because of our short season and our frost in summer, that we think cherries will be the best bet. Obviously, they mature faster. I haven't quite given up on slicers and probably won't ever. I'm bound and determined to get a good tomato harvest, especially with that high tunnel. These are these cute little, I had these in a charcuterie pre-made thing from Costco. They were so good. So I went to find who had some seeds, and of course, Baker Creek did. So these are the Brazilian, I believe the peppers I had were actually Peruvian, but they look the exact same. They were so good. The ones I had were pickled, delicious. This also was a default to the catalog. They say it's one of their most beautiful, it's their most beautiful watermelon. And it matures relatively fast-ish. So hopefully that works for us. This was a free seed, but I'm actually super excited to grow it. Mizuna, I think that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong, but it's a hardy Japanese green. Looks good and it'll definitely grow here. Got a free cucumber. And this corn, I'm super interested to grow. Fisher's earliest, the guy who developed this was in Montana and had a super short season. So this is still not cold hardy, but it's a pretty fast maturing. These are very interesting. Very interesting. The catalog also sucked me into these. They are the garden huckleberry, and I had never heard of these. My sister ironically picked up garden huckleberry seeds too from Seed Savers, and we didn't realize each other bought them separately, but they are, I believe they're poisonous. I got 2 different varieties, and I think they're poisonous unless you cooked. Do not eat raw for this guy, and unripened fruit can be poisonous. Kind of reminds me of elderberry. But these guys, I'm curious to see how they do. They're also going to be in the greenhouse, not outdoors. But they're good for jams, jellies, and all the things, and pies. So I thought that would be a fun plant. This one it's a blackberry Schwarzenbeeren. I believe it's, yes, German, of course. And these get up to 2 to 3 each, only fully ripe, so you can eat these. They're superb in pies and preserves. You want to make sure there's no green showing, probably for the same reason, but at least you can eat these. They say they're going to be dark and kind of dull of color, so those I'm pretty excited for. Okay, for flowers, these are for the cut flower garden. And they're all fairly hardy, because that's what I'm doing. I told you I'm doing a minimal kind of flower farm this year. We're obviously doing our pro cuts, and we have our perennial yarrow, and we have a few perennial rudbeckia, which I would like to get a few more of those, but I'm hoping that they spread. I don't know if they do. And then I have some other perennials, lupin. Okay, but these I have found grow really well for me, that they were in a wildfire mix, and I didn't know what they were called until I saw this, and it's the wallflower. The Siberian wallflower. There's just these cute little orange flowers. We'll see. They're a perennial. Hopefully we can grow them good. Bachelor buttons. These are a classic, but these ones are a little prettier. They have the two-tone. I'm also going to do the Dara flowering carrot. I've done these before, not for cut flowers, but for just having. Love this one. And the next 3 are phlox. Phlox grew great out in the garden last year, and it was in a wildfire mix. They'll probably they've come up the last 2 years from planting 3 years ago, so I think they'll come up again. And this one is, but I bought some just in case. The Phlox Lavender Beauty, Cherry Caramel, and Sugar Stars. There was actually a hot pink one that I was really wanting, but it was sold out. And the last 2, China Asters. I'll try some outside. If they don't work, we'll put them in the high tunnel. It's not a big deal. These are super frost hardy, and I was neglectful of mine last year when I plugged them, but I think I'm going to try to direct sow them this year. And they're stock. And I have multiple packets of all of these. These I have 4 or 5. What happened was Johnny's was sold out of the bulk one of this, and the packets were less seeds in them for more money to go to Johnny's and Baker Creek. So obviously I went with Baker Creek. There you have it, guys. There's my Baker Creek seed haul. I want to kind of put my seed hauls thrown in different videos, because then it's not so clumped up in such a long video and kind of dull and boring. And if you don't like it and you just want to be here for the recipe, the pepperoni rolls, then you could skip this. It's not that big a deal. What a beautiful day. Something I want to look out over here is this lettuce. The frost cover is stuck to the ground still, but we still have some lettuce in here, and it looks fairly well. I'm curious to know if it's actually going to do well and be okay and be like a first crop up in the spring, or if it's going to just rot. Guess we'll find out. Good experiment. I'm at no loss, because I thought it would come up in the fall and I just planted too late. So if I get a harvest off it in the summer or in the spring, that'd be great. If not, I'll just replant again. It's not that big a deal. Okay, gotta clean up all my seeds. Small batch is done. These are gonna go so fast. These are so good, and there's no sauce inside, so it's just roll dough, pepperoni, and cheese. Let them rise, put them in the oven at 350 until golden brown. I have one little boy came in. I'm gonna send him out with some pepperoni rolls. They're hotter than a pistol, but they'll be fine. You know that saying, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. It's very true. I grew up in a household with just the only man in the house was my dad. I had a sister and a mom. I have a sister and a mom, and no boys. And now I have boys. Pepperoni roll? Okay.
Thank you.
Can you take these out to your brothers?
Okay.
There you go. Very hot. There you go. There's the recipe. And one last thing I wanted to talk about, because this has kind of been something I deal with, and I thought it'd be important. I thought it would be cool, interesting to share it with you, is, do you guys, there's a gal online, and she has a YouTube channel. It's the Elliott Homestead, and she has been talking about on her podcast not being a victim to your kitchen. I think these are kind of older, and keeping things tidy. And so I have been like trying so hard to keep my kitchen clean, and I am a messy person, and it doesn't come natural to me to keep things orderly. I love organization. I love having my house clean. This has been my thing, not being a victim of my kitchen, letting it get out of hand, and then it becomes like this huge job where it's like a burden and you just like hate coming into your kitchen. You hear the dishwasher's going, so if you hear that, that's that noise. And it has something to do with this. I feel when I come into my house, what is the one place where I feel super, well, I have two places. I love the kitchen and I love my bedroom clean. My bedroom, I'm going to be working on this week to like, I organized it and we got rid of a bunch of crap out of it over Christmas break. And now I just need to work on keeping it clean, putting things away. The kitchen was a great place to start because it's where if people come into my home, this is what they see. And I want it to be tidy where I'm not embarrassed when people come in, because before I'd be like, oh my gosh, please don't stop by because my house is a wreck. Now it's been a week and a half, and every single night, every single day throughout the day, my kitchen is spotless. I think it used to drive my family crazy that the kitchen was never spotless, and now I think it's driving them crazy that I am a kitchen cleaning lady. My husband's like, Kai, I really love that you're keeping the kitchen clean, but does it have to be spotless at all times of the day? The problem is like, in my brain, I'm like, if I let it go, it's gonna get out of control again, which I don't want to happen. I don't want to have to do several loads of dishes to get caught up. I don't want to do that. And so I need to have a happy medium where things are allowed to get dirty-ish and just being able to come along and do it, and also have my family come along and help. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm not going to be a victim of my kitchen's filthiness, and I'm not going to be embarrassed when people come in. It's okay to be lived in. It doesn't have to be perfect. So this is where we're finding this middle ground. And on a side note, I'm about to redo this whole area. I have my shelf brackets built. I just need to go get the board to cut it, to stain it, and then put up these shelves. I did all of these myself. My husband is more than willing to help me. Projects like this though, when I'm like, I don't think I need his help, I don't need his help. So I tend to do a lot of projects on my own. So this I'm working on next. I just got these assembled last night, or was it last night? Could have been last night. And now I just need to go get the board from the hardware store. And there you have it. So keeping my kitchen tidy is the goal, and it's just going to be something I continue to do. And then next I'm going to move to another room, which is my bedroom. And then I'm going to see if I can just keep continuing on through the house. Keeping this tidy, keep the main areas, kitchen, bedroom, living room, get out of control the most. So if you want to join along with me, that'd be awesome. You could let me know in the comments below. So I'm going to have some pepperoni rolls, and these are going to be our dinner for tonight too. This week's praise report is that I have kept this kitchen clean and tidy for over a week now, and it's been constantly. The floors as well. So this is just, we're doing good. Keeping it up, keeping it up. All right, guys, well, I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for following along. Be sure to put your praise reports down in the comments below, and let me know what you're keeping clean. I don't know. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Oh, hot, hot, hot. It's just delightful. Oh, and by the way, the frozen cheese didn't make a difference. You gotta rub some butter when they come out of the oven. Gives them that nice, shiny, beautiful glow. Oh, and I really like this bread recipe. It's the one that did my mixer in, but felt like it was only a matter of time with the amount of children I have.